but ain't easy.
We're single parents. We just try and survive until a time of the day when it's appropriate to open wine.
You might say
it takes a village.
Don't say it.
It takes a village.
It
takes a village.
Who are these people?
They're my village.
Ruined it.
Single Parents, a new comedy Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
Oh, the strangest dream.
Welcome back to the live finale of The Bachelorette. I'm here with Blake and sitting in stunned silence with our studio audience, tears flowing, as I'm sure there are all across America as people are watching what we just saw. When you watch that back and you see that at the end there, you told Becca you loved her, even at the end. Why?
I just wanted, in that moment, I wanted her to know how madly in love I was with her from, for quite some time. And, it didn't change anything, and that, I did love her.
There was no doubt you were head over heels in love with her, and you did. You guys had that connection and that chemistry all along. Was it almost too easy for you guys? Is that what it was?
Those last couple weeks, that was a fear of mine. That the only red flag we had was that there were no red flags. I think that, was a fear of mine. But I told her over and over again that she deserved that, that too good kind of love, and that we deserve that together.
I can see that the emotion is still very real and very raw. Are you still in love with Becca?
That's a difficult question. I'll always have love for Becca. I will. She's a big part of who I am sitting here now and who I'm going to be. And this whole experience will. I truly think, it was her choice to make. And I truly hope that she's found that happiness that she's been looking for.
We have never seen anything that raw and real and emotional, which speaks to the man that you are. But one thing that really stuck with me, and I noticed it really hit some of our audience members, is when you said that, A, you will have to go through this alone, and B, thinking about how happy she's going to be when Garrett gets down on one knee.
Yeah, me and Becca talked a lot about how we were going to, be a couple after this, if it was me at the end, and how we were going to support each other no matter what through all of this that was to come. And so in that moment, I did have that feeling of now I've got to go through all of this alone. And so that was hard to think about. And then when I talked about, how happy it was, how she was going to be so happy when Garrett proposed, because I had always imagined that moment with me and her, and so I imagined me being the one on the knee, with her, and I knew how happy she would be.
As you've had time to think about this, what was the most difficult or maybe the most confusing or baffling part for you? Was it just not seeing it coming and thinking it was going to happen? Was it afterwards having to deal with this?
It was definitely in the moment. It was definitely when it happened. I just never really considered that if I was to propose to her, that, she would say no. And so it really was a blindside. I left that day. I remember leaving that island, looking back at it and wondering if it was real,
You've been in love before. Yeah. What was different this time with Becca?
I think it was how easy it was with her. It just seemed everything right from the very beginning, the very first date. It was incredibly easy, and we were incredibly comfortable together, and we challenged each other. We made each other laugh, and yeah, I think that's what it was.
She's here tonight. You have not talked to her or seen her since that day we all just watched in the Maldives.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about seeing her again? And you're going to pretty soon tonight.
Mm-hmm. I'm nervous. I'm anxious, obviously. But I want her to know that there's no real hard feelings there. But she did what she felt like she had to do in that moment for her happiness, and I'll never be angry at her for that.
And I can only imagine how difficult it has been to watch this back, and how difficult has it been to not be able to reach out and not talk to her?
Yeah, it's been very difficult, because it was very hard for her too. And I could see that in her, that last week, just how much it was really pulling on her. And so, yeah, it was hard not to be able to reach out and tell her that, I don't want her to.
For all of us to watch this, everyone's been on this ride, and they don't know, up until now, how it has gone. You do. You've known all along. So how tough has it been to have watched this whole journey knowing how it did end for you?
Yeah, it's been very difficult to watch, and it's surprising. It surprised me. It wasn't watching her with the other men. It was actually watching her and me together. Seeing how real it really was for the two of us, knowing how it ended.
Were you looking for signs during all that of like, okay, was it real? Was she, and what did you see in that?
Yeah, I watched every second of it. I wanted to try and find some kind of answer. And I think it was in the Bahamas. It was the first time she told me that she was in love with me, or showed the camera that she was in love with me, and I could see it in her emotions and in that interview, just how real it was for her. And so that was a moment when I was like, wow, it was as real for her as it was for me.
Do you know what you're going to say to her tonight? Have you thought about this?
Yeah, I have. To be honest, watching that last little bit, I got a few answers that I needed, but I still have some questions for her. Absolutely.
All right, well, she's backstage. We're about to bring her out. So when we come back, Blake will see Becca for the first time since that devastating day in the Maldives. Stick around.
Peppermint. Rated R. September 7th.
Welcome.
Hi there.
So what do you look for in a vehicle?
Sleek designs. Performance.
Dependability is top on my list.
Well, then here's some vehicles that deliver on that.
Whoa.
Oh, geez.
That's our truck.
It's our truck!
And they're our car.
That's my Chevy!
Chevy's the only brand to have earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks, and SUVs 3 years in a row.
Awesome, I'm proud.
Oh, it's like a dynasty. It's impressive.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. Because the weekend is here and you're thinking tacos. Whether carne asada, carnitas, or Alberto's al pastor. Nice, Beto. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimist relieves all your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't. And all from a gentle mist you can barely feel. Flonase Sensimist.
Introducing Fresh Step Clean Paws. Low tracking litter designed to stay off your floor and everywhere else. Let's make litter less of a mess. Let's start fresh.
Do you need the most trusted battery in your wireless mouse? Maybe not.
No.
Maybe you could trust that during your fantasy draft, the computer won't auto-draft a kicker in the 7th round. Maybe you could trust you won't be kept up at night because you auto-drafted a kicker in the 7th round. Maybe you could trust that for the next 16 weeks, you won't think about auto-drafting a kicker in the 7th round. Or you could just trust Duracell.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard only at DQ. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. Outrageous! Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Sometimes what happens is so hard to believe that you refuse to accept the truth.
You're not gonna believe this.
Sometimes you refuse to accept bad things,
John killed himself.
but there is good, and you will find it.
How could I not know?
Maybe this is a wake-up call.
I'm not giving up. This time, I'm gonna do it right.
Don't be afraid. Take a chance on yourself.
To friends.
Welcome back to the live finale of The Bachelorette. I'm here with Blake. Obviously, a very emotional night. Has not seen Becca since that gut-wrenching day in the Maldives. You were about to see her again. I can see you're shaking, nervous.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind?
Yeah, like I said, since I told her I loved her and walked away, I haven't seen her. And so, the last thing I told her was that I was in love with her. So
I'm sure a million things going through your mind. A lot of things you'd like to say. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Becca.
You look good.
You look amazing. Yeah, I was hoping you'd come out in like a hoodie or something.
Sweatpants, robe and slippers.
I'm just going to turn it over to you. And Blake, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how you watched back, your Bachelor season and got a lot of the answers you were looking for.
Yeah.
And you decided to watch back. And I took that to heart, and I did. I watched every second of this season looking for answers, and I did get a lot of the answers I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the big one was, was there a moment, and was there something, that happened where you decided it wasn't going to be me there at the end?
Honestly, there wasn't any moment really that triggered the decision. It was just, especially those last 2 weeks when I knew that we were down to the wire and that this would be the biggest decision I've had to make. I had to just evaluate both relationships and what one would fit best in my life, but there wasn't anything that you had ever said or anything that you did to make me question where you stood in our relationship. It was just what one is going to be the best for me at the end of this.
Was there something about our future that worried you? Or was there something that you saw in our future that maybe you felt wasn't right?
No, I think it was just, you had been so solid and you had always been so open and present, and that last week, to me, it wasn't making the wrong decision because both of you guys were so amazing, so solid, and it was just me trying to sift through our interactions and looking into the future and seeing, what one is going to be the best for me in the long run. How would we handle certain situations if something happened? And, where you got more in your head at times about things, it made me worried at times of just how we would handle certain things down the road if someone were to get sick or something were to happen to a child. And that's when I just started to question the longevity of it.
And I want you to know there are no hard feelings for me. And I want you to know that because I don't know if you remember one of the last things I told you on that island was for you to follow your heart. And I can't now be mad at you for doing just that.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty hypocritical of me. And so there's zero hard feelings. And
I will say, that last week, the biggest fear of mine the entire journey was I never wanted to hurt anyone. And that last week I was so torn up and I was so anxious about having to hurt somebody because I knew exactly what it felt like and I didn't want to do that to you or to anyone. And so I'm sorry. I know that